Here are 3 price targets that I have for Toshi in 2025. Even though nothing I say is financial advice, if you're wondering when exactly in this year, I'm going to get a little bit into that later on in the video. However, my first price target is going to be 1 cent. And the reason why is because I first of all think that this is a worst case price target scenario for Toshi. And I don't think it's all too much to ask for because take into consideration, when it comes to Toshi, it is a meme coin on the base network, which sometimes people overlook because they take a look at the base network. They don't think it's really that special. But here's where I think sometimes people are mistaken, because the base network is Coinbase's layer 2 network. And it's built in collaboration with Optimism, which is one of the leading Ethereum layer 2 scaling solutions. Now you may be thinking, okay, Coinbase is massive. However, what do they know about making a layer 2? Well, again, that's where Optimism steps in. And when you take a look at a layer 2 at its core, its purpose is to allow for Ethereum to be enjoyed while at the same time not dealing with the drawbacks like the gas fees and scalability issues, or should I say the very high gas fees. And some people may be thinking, okay, when it comes to the base network, it has no future. Well, I disagree with that, because when you have Coinbase making a layer 2, that really gives it a lot of credibility, and I think also a lot of perceived stability when it comes to a lot of people, because when they see another layer 2 pop up, and quite frankly put, there's a lot of layer 2s out there, the backing in a lot of cases really isn't that solid. But when you have something like Coinbase, that right there, man, I think that's a major thumbs up. And I think a major contributing factor, which is why we're seeing, some of these projects on the base network, like Airdrome, a very amazing decentralized exchange, like Brett, and also like Toshi, really gain this good attention. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to Toshi, it is named after Brian Armstrong's cat. Brian Armstrong is the co-founder of Coinbase, and of course, Coinbase made a layer 2 called the base network, and you get the relation here, right? Because Toshi is on the base network. Now, also, Toshi, the name is very similar to Satoshi Nakamoto, which is allegedly the creator of Bitcoin. Some people debate this, but you know what? It is what it is. So when you take a look at Toshi, again, the name does have a lot of symbolic meaning. You take a look at, again, Brian Armstrong's cat. Of course, I would assume, loves his cat a lot. Not to mention, also, the name really rhymes with Satoshi Nakamoto. So I like this. It's not just another stereotypical cat the meme coin, if that makes sense. Even though it's basically a cat the meme coin, it's a little bit different. Now, also take into consideration how Toshi does have a pretty good use case. It's not necessary for a meme coin to have this, but I like this. I think it's a good touch. You take a look at, for instance, something called Toshi Tools, which includes a multi-sender, a token locker, a liquidity locker, a token launcher, and also a launchpad, which is a good touch again to the whole Toshi vibe, if that makes sense. Not to mention, there's also something called Toshi Mart, which allegedly allows everyone to create their own meme coin without any technical knowledge. So it's basically like a meme coin launchpad. I don't think these two are really going to have the best adoption of all time, but again, it's a thought that counts, and Toshi, I think it's heading in the right direction. Not to mention, Toshi is listed on Coinbase, which is a major victory in my opinion. For the longest time possible, everyone was saying, oh, how come Toshi wasn't listed on Coinbase? It's a meme coin on the base network. It's even named after Coinbase's co-founder's cat. Why is it not on there? Well, now it's on there. So this right here is a major victory. It's basically like a full circle type of moment. Not to mention, Toshi's also listed in Crypto.com, which is one of the biggest exchanges out there. When I take a look at this, how can I go wrong with this? It's a very amazing meme coin. It's clearly on the right place. And take a look at also when Solana really popped off, Dob with Hat, book a meme, and went along with the ride, these Solana-based meme coins. So when the base network really gains that mass retail FOMO, I just don't see why Toshi won't go along with the ride as well. Now, it's already done pretty well, or should I say very well, much like I predicted. However, I think there's better days ahead, and I think Toshi is a very special meme coin. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon in a bad direction. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be no pullbacks along the way. However, I do believe that it's going to have a good direction in terms of longevity, because I think it's going to be around for the long haul. We all know that Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, they're not a joke. They've been around for ages. You take a look at people saying, oh, there's going to be no more, of these meme coins that stick around for the long haul. Well, when I take a look at Toshi, I think it is going to stick around for the long haul. And even beyond this bull run, I think the future is very bright. However, for this bull run more specifically, reaching the price of 1 cent as a worst case scenario, I don't see why not. I don't think it's unrealistic for a meme coin this fantastic. However, with that being said, my second price target for Toshi is 1.5 cents. And if it were to go to this price, by the way, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $6 billion. So it's not that bad. Now you may be thinking, okay, why is around $6 billion not that bad? It's because we've seen something like Shiba Inu at its peak reach around $40 billion. We've seen Dogecoin at its peak also back in 2021 reach over $80 billion. So I'm not talking about record-breaking or crazy figures here. If I'm seeing Toshi is going to go to like a $300 billion market cap or something crazy like that during this run, then of course that's very unrealistic. It doesn't make any sense. But again, this is like so minuscule, I just don't see why not. Now, I think this, if anything, puts into perspective that Toshi doesn't really need to be the next Dogecoin or Shiba Inu to be considered a success, because reaching the price of 1.5 cents, that's nearly a 16x from here. Well, to be a little bit more specific, it's around a 15.8x, but still, around a 16x for simplicity's sake. It's not that bad. Like, for instance, I don't think Dogecoin can do a 16x from where it is as of right now in the next 6 months to a year. I just don't think it could do that. So when I take a look at Toshi, it's on the rise. It's on the right place. It has that amazing recognition. And I just don't see why it won't be an amazing meme coin. And we've seen this formula work pretty good. Take a look at Floki. That's named after Elon Musk's dog. And when you take a look at Toshi, it's named after Brian Armstrong's cat. I just don't see why it won't be the next quote-unquote Floki, if that makes sense. I made a very good call on Floki, by the way. I remember talking about Floki when the market cap was around $60 million. At that point, I was down by a lot when it comes to Floki, by the way, but I kept accumulating. And then, of course, we all know how well Floki did. Again, much like I anticipated and predicted. However, I think better days are ahead. When it comes to Toshi, even if we just ignore the Floki part, and I think this right here is very fantastic. Again, 1.5 cents. I just don't see why not. Now, my third and final price target when it comes to Toshi is, of course, going to be 2 cents. I'm sticking by this as my most bullish case price target scenario. Now, people may be thinking that, okay, it's impossible. Well, again, if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $8 billion. Dogecoin, again, reached over 80 billion. This is like peanuts. Now, Dogecoin, again, like I mentioned in the previous part of the video, reached this back in 2021. And keep in mind, that year, there was far less, action, I think, at least when compared to what we could very well see this time around, because even during the peak of that bull run that year, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. Now there's over 600 million, according to Crypto.com research, more than ever before in history. Also, take a look at the growth for Ethereum and take a look at the Ethereum ETF, which is, of course, massive for these layer 2s, much like the base network. Not to mention, you take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, which is just generating a lot of positive sentiment overall when it comes to the crypto space. Not to mention, you take a look at just the knowledge that people have nowadays when it comes to meme coins. They know that, yes, it's a fun project. It's not supposed to be that serious. However, sometimes the hypothetical upside can't be denied. And I think the mindset is completely different from back in 2021. Nowadays, we have more content. A lot of people are more educated when it comes to understanding what meme coins are all about. So I think this right here is really going to create a perfect storm. I think this burn is going to be so fantastic. And, Toshi at the price of 2 cents, I don't see why not. Now, some people may be wondering, okay, how soon? Usually, altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, which is why I call this video 2025 price targets. Now, when you take a look at the last Bitcoin halving event that happened back in April of last year, 18 months from then is around October this year, which is why, again, I titled the video that. And when you take a look at that, it's not necessarily a guarantee that altcoins, as a worst case, are going to peak in October. However, I think this, if anything, does give a good benchmark. If it happens a little bit earlier, that would be awesome, of course. If it happens a little bit later, it is what it is. However, even if you take a look at Charles Hoskinson, who is not only the co-founder of Ethereum, but the founder of Cardano, he does predict that, based on a video that he was a part of back in November of last year, he said that in the next 1 or 2 years, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. If we assume his best case scenario timeline, that would actually mean November of this year in 2025. And if we assume his worst case scenario price target for Bitcoin at that time frame, that's $250,000. So imagine if Bitcoin were to do that this year in November, let's say, just in a make-believe scenario. I think 2 cents for Toshi may seem a little bit bearish. However, even despite that, I'm not going to randomly go all in. What I want to do is dollar cost average. So anytime an income, acquire, hold, and I just wait. Literally, that's it. It's so simple. It doesn't require any technical knowledge. And that's what I do. Again, I just like to keep things simple, and 2 cents during this bull run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's going to leave the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.